The day I found out I was a stolen heiress, I was 45 years old. I had a husband, 3 children, a life I had built entirely on my own terms. And yet, somewhere across the city, a wealthy family had just discovered that the daughter they'd raised for 4.5 decades wasn't theirs. She was mine. I was the real one. And I had been abandoned at birth, left in a remote suburb, on the brink of death, by a woman who wanted her own daughter to inherit my life instead. When the police contacted me, I wasn't devastated. I was unsettled, curious. My adoptive parents had found me barely a few days old, nearly lifeless, and raised me with everything they had. They were gone now, and until they passed, no one had ever come to claim me. I wasn't exactly approaching this reunion with a broken heart. I had too much to protect for that. My husband was on a business trip. My son, Lin Qiao, was deep in a national tour. My twin daughters took time off from their university program just to accompany me, which tells you something about my daughters. The Song family sent a car. Just a driver, not family. At the villa, we weren't led to the main hall. We were taken to a side room, and before we even got to the door, I heard them. My biological brother's voice, low and sure. I really don't know why the old man and the old lady are so set on bringing her and those freaks back. They've been living on the streets for decades. Having a sister like you is more than enough. The sister he was talking to, Song Shuki, the woman who had spent 45 years being me, the woman who wore my name, slept in my bedroom, attended my parents' funerals. A woman who, when she finally stood and took my hand, looked at me with the most sincere expression I had ever seen on a dishonest face. "Little sister," she said, "you've suffered so much." Her pear-shaped diamond caught the light. My plain wedding band did not. She had made her assessment, and she wasn't wrong. She just had no idea what she was assessing. Over the next 2 days, the shape of their offer became clear. 5 million yuan, a supplementary card, perhaps an apartment, and in exchange, a quiet agreement. I would be introduced to the world as their adopted daughter, not their real one, not the one who had been taken from them, just a late addition, a charity case they decided to be generous about. When my father told me to quit my job and move the girls to the city, I set the card on the table. "I don't think I can accept this," I said. "Let's just treat each other as ordinary relatives." And I walked out. 2 days later, my birth mother called to invite me to my niece's birthday party. My husband thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. He drove us there himself, in the most forgettable car in his garage, playing chauffeur, grinning the whole way. We were stopped at the gate. No invitation. The butler stood at a distance, watching us with crossed arms. He waited. We waited. Only when we turned to leave did he come running, sweating and stumbling over apologies. My younger daughter looked at him with wide, innocent eyes. "Uncle Butler, you were watching from over there the whole time, weren't you? You only came running when you saw we were about to leave." He had no answer for that. Inside, the evening was a masterpiece of condescension. Whispers trailed us through every room. My nephew told his friends I wasn't a real relative. Song Shuki's son-in-law had us removed, quietly, firmly, with that particular brand of confidence that belongs to men who have never once been wrong in a room full of people who agree with them. "Show them out," he said. We went. And as we crossed toward the exit, something happened that I had not planned for. My deputy general manager, who had been inside negotiating a major partnership deal with the Pei family, walked out behind me, loudly, deliberately, in front of every client, every executive, every person in that hall watching us leave. Then a sound rose near the entrance, a scream, a ripple of excitement moving through the crowd. And through the doors, stepping into the party that had just thrown his mother out, walked Lin Qiao. The girls surged forward. Pei Qingyao stepped up to greet him, gracious and glowing. He smiled. He looked around the room. His eyes found me. He moved through the crowd, past the fans, past the Song family, past every person who had watched us get escorted out like unwanted guests, and stopped directly in front of me. And in a room full of the wealthiest, most powerful people in the city, he said one word: "Mom." The room went completely, utterly silent.